This rainy Saturday afternoon, I sit inside, watching the rain pound on the concrete in front of my little house in a questionable neighborhood. No one is out in the rain on this side of town, but my street is generally very quiet anyway. I watch the rain, clouds so solid and gray that I wonder how the sky will be blue again. The rain falls, cold and steady, soaking everything in my view. Rainy days always remind me of New Orleans, and I'm inclined to turn on some jazz or some blues. Maybe just missing the city so much makes my heart feel so heavy that it needs to hear the blues. Or maybe I just want to hear the horns, reminding me of the sounds that echo through her streets. I shuffle through my mix, mostly female vocalists with their deep, throaty, jazzy, and bluesy voices. Days like these, I'm often drawn to Billie or Ella, and sometimes the rain makes me crave Norah Jones, something a little more modern, but just as sultry and soaked in raindrops. But today, without any question, I flip to Etta James. Our country felt a great sadness to see Etta's passing this week, and I know the cries of anguish lit up my Facebook page with the voices of music and loving friends around the country. Many of my friends in New Orleans posted gatherings and events around the city, and the birthplace of jazz was hit hard by the news. Etta inspired so many female musicians and so many singers. Both today and yesterday, people give Etta credit for their influence. Adele, whose music is in a similar vein, said, "Etta James is the only artist I've ever properly believed when I listen to her. I feel her pain." Pink, who was also influenced by Etta, said, "Your voice and fight inspired me and many. I love that through recordings people can live forever." Janis Joplin also claimed influence from Etta. Tina Turner, Bonnie Raitt, Joss Stone, and Christina Aguilera also claim to have been inspired and influenced by Etta James. Her inspiration runs deep. For me, Etta provided a different kind of influence and admiration. I loved her music, yes, and I loved her voice, sultry and full of emotion, but I also loved her for her vibrant personality and her brazen image in the media. I admired her for getting clean and staying clean. Even more, I admired her for talking about it. I came across a quote of Etta's repeated in various news articles from around the world, reflecting on the woman she was and her life after passing this week. "The bad girls had the look I liked. I wanted to be rare. I wanted to be noticed. I wanted to be as exotic as a Cotton Club chorus girl. And I wanted to be as obvious as the most flamboyant hooker on the street. I just wanted to be." I relate to that. I felt exactly that way at one time in my life, too. In my generation, this idea is less shocking than it was in the days that Etta felt this way. Still, I relate to those words when I read them, and I admire her for speaking to the world about her life, her desires, and her addictions. I think that the world is too quiet about the topic of addiction, shoving it back down because of the stigma related to it. We whisper our family secrets and keep these skeletons hanging in the closets of our family homes. We rarely mention that our grandmother was an alcoholic, and we even more seldom feel free to admit our own struggles with substance abuse. It is this silence that helps to keep addicts sick. It is this silence that keeps the rest of the population stuck in ignorance, shaping their opinions with the widespread stigma. Speaking out about addiction, sharing my personal experiences is not always easy. Sometimes I write and rewrite a certain paragraph over and over, lamenting to think that my mother will one day read this. Sometimes each word I write is painful, like admitting the truth to everyone, with the shameful fear of rejection and judgment. But I also realize that if my words can help just one person, then it is worth it. Giving back is a valuable reward for those of us on this path of recovery. We realize at a point that it is best to bear it all and to show the world this light of our existence. We can give insight into addiction, and we can hope to also give inspiration to others who struggle with the same disease that once crippled us too. Sharing our stories publicly, bearing our souls to the world, gives us a feeling of solidarity, of shared experience. When I read Etta's words, so often I related to her. I realized that I also once felt exactly like that. Etta also admits that her struggle with heroin kept her from producing at her best during those years, and I relate to that. I think back to all the years using when I hardly wrote at all. I think about how much heroin hindered my creativity, and I think that now that I am clean, it is bursting forth. Etta beat an addiction that she struggled with for decades. Etta fought the same addiction that I also fought, and I know what that battle is like. She finally beat the addiction in 1988, and she lived for 23 years more, producing 15 more albums, with her last one just released in last December, only about a month ago. That alone is an inspiration. She published an autobiography in 1995 titled The Rage to Survive, the Etta James story. Etta struggles with addiction where in the public light as they are with any celebrity, but her book bore her soul to the world. And Etta inspired me for her courage to share these sordid details of her life, telling her story for the world to hear. Etta's voice will no longer be heard in a dark and smoky club or even in a sold-out auditorium, but it will still reverberate through the world. Sometimes her voice will be heard through the crackle of an old album spinning on a record player, while other times it may have the crispy clarity of an MP3. But her voice will live on, her music will live on, and her message will live on. She will continue to inspire recovering addicts even after her passing. Her story is a testament to recovery and also an inspiration to me and others like me. Addiction can be an ugly demon, but my past has given me the motivations I need today. My addiction has supplied me not only with a lifelong disease that I have to manage, but also with stories to share with the world. My addiction hindered me for many years, but today my addiction has become a subject of great inspiration. I truly believe that everything happens for a reason, and I feel like my reasons are finally starting to make sense. Doors have finally begun to open for me, and things in my life have also started to fall into place, and I have only been clean for 6 years. I cannot imagine how great it will feel to be clean for 23 years. And I am excited about all the things that will happen between now and then. Etta, I want to thank you for your life. I want to thank you for your courage, your words, and your inspiration. I want to thank you for your beautiful voice and your sultry, haunting music. You will be truly missed by the world.